This thing is absolutely incredible. There, if you don't want to watch the whole video, you definitely got it. That's about it. But for those that want a little bit more, this is the Creality M1. And this thing's currently on Indigogo. And what it promises to do replaces almost the entire industry's worth of hard work. For my day job, I actually have a customer here in Maryland that manufactures plastic. And I've been to their facility many times doing photos, video, that type of thing. And I know what it takes. I've seen it with my own eyes to create a spool of filament. The amount of people it takes, the amount of real estate it actually takes, the machines that have to operate, and the amount of them that have to produce a spool at least over and over again and accurately. It's a lot. And this device shatters that, at least for hobbyists in the 3D printing space. This is a really disruptive product, and it's one of these products that it doesn't even matter what type of printer you have or what you want to see for 3D printing in the future. This thing kind of takes a lot and puts it and flips it on its head. And that's really cool. I really love products in 3D printing that push 3D printing forward. And no matter which side of the wastebasket you're on with 3D printing, well, this thing makes filament in your home. And the whole thing is about the size of a large PC. So that's really, really incredible. It actually promises quite a bit. See, this right here is a prototype unit, and it's definitely a prototype unit. I've actually never seen a machine here in the studio that's quite this much prototype. Most of this is 3D printed and definitely handmade. You can even see that some of the stuff is painted. So it is not going to be as compatible and capable as the real deal, but they promised me the real deal is going to be absolutely wild. Guys, there's going to be a link to the Indigogo campaign, which is where this thing is right now, like I mentioned before. Check it out because it promises up to 8 different types of filament. Even ABS is on there. That's kind of incredible. It has filtration, things of that nature. And some of the other really incredible stuff that they promise is going all the way up to 1 kilogram per hour, which is extremely fast. That's a full spool per hour. Now, I did go against what they asked me, and I did still test grinding up and making my own filament from recycled materials, and I made this spool. Sorry, Creality, I had to. I'm curious. I have this thing on hand, and this made an incredible spool. I absolutely love the colors here. This is mostly kind of ground up supports and things like that from wasted prints. I was actually surprised by the color this came out because a lot of it was, I guess, yellow and white. I did end up putting some virgin material in here, so this is not 100% recycled, maybe 80% or so, but I printed it with it. And here's a little pill box. I know it's not a big print. There we go. Take a look at that. I know it's not a big print, but this is recycled. This is from filament scrap. So the idea of this machine is you'd be able to take something like this bag of poop, which, by the way, came from just these 2 prints, and that's kind of where we are in 3D printing right now. So you'll be able to take something like this and turn this into filament again, and that's incredible. You can obviously make filament from pellets, and that's what we're going to do today. I actually have a tub right here, 3D printed tub with 500 grams of virgin PLA, and what I'm going to do is we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of color. I got blue, red, and yellow, and we're going to sprinkle that in as we feed it into this hopper. And for the video today, I want to make some rainbow PLA filament, our own custom spool of rainbow PLA. I'm really excited. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, so full disclosure, this thing's kind of tricky to set up. You got to get used to the process of doing things on here. I'm going to hit start production, and what that does is there's actually a stepper right here that goes in homes, and that's the part that actually moves back and forth to make sure that your winding on the spool is nice and even. I have PLA-M selected on here. There are a few other modes on here, but PLA-M seems to be what I need to do. I don't have 1,000 grams. I actually have 500 grams, so we'll make sure this thing knows it's going to have around 500 grams. I'm not going to touch any of the temperatures. There are 3 temperatures because because there's an auger in here in this section, and it has 3 different temps that it sets to for when it draws in the pieces of plastic into itself, and then before it extrudes right over here. So we have this thing set up. I'm not going to change anything else. We're just going to stick with the defaults. I'm going to hit on, and yes, it is going to get loud. There are actually a ton of fans. I believe there's 8 fans going around this way. There's 2 very large exhaust fans right here, and then there's a large unit fan on the back. So there's a lot of fans on this thing. It's going to be a little bit loud. There is a counter right over here to preheating, so we're about 1%. So let's go ahead and load this thing up with our filament here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump a lot of this in there to get us started. And what we'll do is let's start with some blue. You actually do not need a lot of this color to make a lot of color. So we are going to just put a couple in, then put a bunch of white, put in another color. There we go. Then we'll do some more white. Then we'll do a little bit more color. And I am just experimenting here. This might be a little bit light on color. This might be a little heavy on color. I don't know. We're just kind of exploring. Dump a little more. Let's go back to some blue. There we go. Let's do a little bit heavier this time. All right. And let's go back in with some red. Just like that. All right. And the last bit with some yellow. There you go. And a little bit of yellow sprinkled on top right there. I'm not sure what we're going to end up with. We're going to see. All right, so now that we have that, we're about 40% heated. What I'm going to do is we're going to take a little carriage here that has a knife built into it. It has little wheels. We're going to put that right on the edge of our hot end there. And it looks like we are almost at temps. And it does have some magnets, and it sits into this little piece here. And what happens is once it starts actually producing filament out of there, what we'll do is we'll kind of guide this along these little pieces here. And then we're going to get to the end right over here. We are going to cut the filament. We're going to take this and put it into the extruder. It's going to pull it out here, and then it's going to start coming out of this end over here. So we'll see what happens. Then we should be able to take it and put it into the spool itself. And then we will just start spooling. I might speed through this part a little bit because, like I said, I kind of messed this up the first time I did it, and it takes a little bit of practice to get used to, but let's see what happens. All right, so now we're fully heated, and now it says pre-extrusion here, so let's do that. All right, pre-extrusion, let's hit start winding. All right, now we should be able to take this and pull it. There we go. Looks like I got it stuck there, but that's okay. Should be able to pull it. All right, and let's put that into the extruder slowly here. Let it catch. There we go. All right, I definitely need more practice doing that. But yeah, basically what you need to do is make sure that you have consistent extrusion, and then very slowly pull it all the way through, and then put it into the extruder, and then, well, when it starts coming out of here, you just put it around the spool there, and then it does the rest of the magic. So we're finally running there, and yeah, I'm just gonna let it do its thing. The other cool part is that it tells you what the filament is running at the moment. So it looks like it's jumping somewhere between 1.7 millimeters to 1.8 millimeters in diameter. And then it's going to get better at it as time goes on, and it gives it a little bit more of an even spread there, which is pretty nice. But yeah, for now, we're good to go. I'm just gonna watch it like it's paint being dry, and we'll go from there. Let's see what the spool ends up looking like. All right, guys, we have it. Look at this awesome custom spool right here. We made this from pellets. We colored it ourselves, and we got some beautiful colors in there. There's some purples in there, and some browns and oranges, and these lovely earth tones, and then into like a light green. Very, very cool. I actually went ahead and re-spooled it. That's why it's on this other spool. I'm having a little motor issue. It's unrelated to what the real one is going to be. This is just my particular unit. So it wasn't necessarily the most beautiful spool. So I just took it off of there and went ahead and re-spooled it onto here. So it's a little easier to print. I'm going to move this all off the table for now. Let's get a printer on here and let's print something with this stuff because it looks good. Let's go. All right, I did a few prints with this stuff, and I'm really happy with it. And yes, I did get sunburned today. It is what it is. But check it out. I printed a couple fidget spinners, you know, because kids. And of course, they came out great. They look fantastic. I also did a cube. I love to have these things at the desk. They're always fun to mess with. And it, of course, came out great. Here, check out some of those color shifts in the filament. I don't even know of a production filament that changes like this. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors on this thing right here. So that's really fun. Yeah, so you can just print it. And here is what we have left on the spool. Take a look at that beautiful gradient we have to work with. So definitely going to continue printing with both of these filaments that we made, and we have a lot more to explore. There's a lot more filaments, there's a lot more colors. They also sent me some PLA CF, which means this thing can do abrasives, so we can kind of mess with that too, maybe make kind of like a gray with a little bit of a hybrid, since PLA CF's almost pretty much black. It'd be fun to try to make kind of like a PLA half CF and see if we can add some color to it or something like that. You know, it is what it is, guys. Definitely check this thing out on Indigogo. As of the recording right now, Creality has passed over $6 million on Indigogo for this thing, and it's still going. I think there is still just under a week left, so definitely go ahead in the description, click that link, get over there, just check it out. I know this isn't going to be for everybody, but for a small studio like mine, for making cool combinations or even gifts for others, this thing is really, really cool. And the fact that we can take our waste and reduce it by reusing it, that is huge. I know the industry is kind of moving towards machines that don't necessarily make a lot of poop, right? As we move from a multiplexer to multi-tool head and multi-nozzle systems, but still, you're going to have supports. You're going to have blocks of waste from those machines, the towers, and you'd be able to just grind them up and reuse them for something. And minimizing that waste is not only really fun, but it's recycling. It's good for everybody involved, and I can't wait to see where this thing goes. Even after this version, I'm really excited because, as we know, things start large and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller as time goes on. So I can't wait to see what this thing is going to be capable of down the road and how this technology is going to push 3D printing, because it totally is. We can make custom filament in our basement. It's amazing. All right, guys, check those links. Thanks for Creality for giving me a chance to try this out before everyone gets it. I appreciate it, and hopefully I showed it off to as much as I can in the limited time that I had it. All right, everybody, that's all for me for today, and as always, I'll see you all in the comments. Later.